My name's Amaya Cartagena, host of Powerful Mind Podcast, and I'm on Youngest in the Yacht Club.
I want the money and fame. We go to the city and we don't be tucking our chain. Woke up in paradise and we live in the drain.
Youngest in the Yacht Club. I am Vince Serrano. We've got an amazing guest today. She's an entrepreneur. She also hosts a podcast, the Powerful Mind Podcast. We have Amaya Cartagena. What's up?
What's up? Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Really excited to be on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's different, right? Now you being in the seat.
I was like, it's so weird. I was like driving up here in the car, and like even like he looked at me. He was in the car with me. He was like, "Are you nervous right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is so wild." I was like, I'm not like nervous because I like do this,
right.
But I was like, I don't know why I'm feeling a little bit anxiety. I don't know what's going on.
Right. And it's good though. It's good to feel that because that means we're gonna get the best organic conversation.
Oh, yeah. You're getting everything, anything you want to know.
Awesome. Well, here's what we do want to know. The first question is, who is Amaya Cartagena?
That's a loaded question. There's a lot of different ways. I would sum it up. I would say a young, creative individual who's relentless at pursuing their dreams and helping others to pursue their dreams as well.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Why? What's the purpose? What's the story behind that? Because
my whole life, honestly, like I've always felt like I have this purpose, this creative purpose. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm here for. And honestly, like I was literally talking the other day to actually him, and I was like, I feel like anything that I do, like job-wise, like money-wise, just to like pay the bills and also be able to fund my creative projects and everything I actually want to do until that can fund me fully, which is the goal. I feel like I'm not satisfied doing anything else. And he's like, you're never going to be satisfied until you're doing what you love, and that's what you're doing for money as well and everything. So that's the goal. And I know that feeling is so relatable to so many different people. And so I want to be able to do it. First of all, I want to be able to do it, and I want to be able to kind of draw a roadmap for those, especially since, I come from, I would say, a small town, not a place that you say people recognize.
Right.
So I'm trying to be like, it doesn't matter where you're from or how old you are or your money situation. Like, if you really want to do it, you'll figure it out. Like, there's a way to do it, and it's not easy, but.
Yeah, no, for sure. That segues to the next thing. Where are you from?
I'm from Port Charlotte, Florida.
Okay.
But I'm actually born and raised in Northport. So I like to say Northport, Port Charlotte. Yeah.
Awesome. How is it out there?
It's very, I would say they're building.
Okay.
I would say in that area, they're building a lot to make it, I don't know, just more things to do and more shops and restaurants and all that. But that town used to be literally straight up woods.
Yeah, for sure. I actually, we talked about this off camera. I got arrested in Charlotte County and they sent me to prison. So they don't play games out there. They do
not mess around over there. Like, it's actually insane. They don't mess around. I know so many people where it's just like, it's mind blowing. And it's like, so while I'm over there, I make sure I'm on my P's and Q's.
Absolutely.
On my toes.
Everybody got to be on their P's and Q's,
Absolutely.
period. We're not condoning that. I was in the past life, but it's like crazy that I have history there and that's where you're from,
Yeah, that was literally the first thing you said to me. And I was like,
oh,
that
man.
makes sense. That makes sense. Like, I've heard that many times before.
For sure. So how did you grow up? Like, where's your nationality, places you're from, like your family?
Yeah, so my family's Puerto Rican.
Okay.
My grandparents are from Puerto Rico. They actually moved to New York, met in New York, even though they're both from Puerto Rico. And I have a big family. I have my mom's one of 5 girls. I'm one of 5 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of a big family dynamic is my background. My family, they support me through everything. I owe it honestly all to them, to my mom, to my dad.
How'd you guys end up going to Northport?
To Northport, so honestly, they were born like all in New York, and then half of them moved to California, and then half of them moved down to Florida. So I don't know why they chose Northport, but that was just where they landed, and that's where my whole family is now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does it feel like seeing because obviously you were born and raised there, and they are building, right? How does it feel to see like Florida moving up? Like,
man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody, their mama coming over here.
Yeah, legit.
No, it's definitely crazy to see that happening. But I just think like it needs to happen, especially for those smaller areas, because not only just for the community, it's super important for the community to continue to grow and have things to do, because as you know, if you come from a small town where you don't really got things to do, people are getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So people start doing dumb stuff.
Right, legit.
So it's definitely a good move to be able to start building, and just for the youth in general coming out, so they have things to do. So they're not like doing dumb things and getting in trouble.
That's cool. That's cool. So how did you come up? Like, where'd you go? You went to high school? You end up, like, what's the story of Amaya?
So, story of Amaya, again, born and raised in Northport, Florida. And then I went to high school at Northport High School. Oh. I actually graduated. I was the class of 2020, so I graduated in the pandemic.
Wow.
And when I say graduated, I mean I got an email that was like, hey, you're done. Good job. It was like, you're done. Good job. Congrats.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, awesome. This is all 12 years. This is great.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So I actually saved up a lot of money working. I started at 16 working in the restaurant industry. Saved up a lot of money because I want to travel the world, actually, and live in different places multiple months at a time.
Wow.
And so the pandemic happened. So guess what did not happen?
You're traveling.
That. So thank goodness I had applied to colleges. So I was like, I guess I should go to college. So I actually moved to Tampa. I went to USF for a year. And then I realized everything that I actually want to do with my life, I don't need a college degree for.
Most people, right?
Yeah, I was like, don't need it. And I realized I actually paid for college out of pocket. I was the first person in my family to like actually try to go to college.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, and then that's actually when Powerful Mind started. Was back in 2020 in my college apartment.
So what made you want to start the pod?
It actually started as a clothing brand. Powerful Mind first.
Yo,
no, really?
Hey, Youngest in the Yacht Club too. Yeah, legit. I was like, yo, Youngest in the Yacht Club. That sounds dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
Dang. So I don't know. Maybe you can relate to this, but I was like, this isn't good. The creative itch for me is that clothing brand, because I don't know. To me, it's like, unless I'm gonna be like an actual fashion designer who like does all that, I'm like, I don't know how to do that, and nor do I want to do that.
Right.
So I was like, just getting a design, putting it on a shirt, that didn't really satisfy that creativeness inside of me, that performer inside of me, So that's when I pivoted, actually only in, I would say, 2022, 2023, pivoted to the podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then so now we're in season 2 of the podcast.
Congrats. We're in season 2 of Youngest in the Yacht Club too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
We started November 2023.
Okay, nice.
We started putting out, November 2022 is when we started shooting, and then we started putting out episodes in April of 2023. So yeah, going into season 2 it's pretty dope. I like seeing you guys. What is the pod about? Like, what is the premise, and did it start like that? Did you move into that? How did it come about?
Yeah, so it's actually, the podcast is created, so originally, which it still is, but we kind of, as time goes on and progresses, you change and fix and mold, so it started as wanting to really just provide, and to the core of Powerful Mind, that's what it is providing a platform for different artists and creators and fashion models and producers and engineers and anybody who is in the creative field, allowing them to have a platform to say what they do, why they do what they do, just really elaborate on who they actually are. Because a good example that I love to give is like a famous photographer, videographer, right? Half the time you don't even know anything about them because they're behind the camera. They're never in front of the camera. They're never saying, I wanted to be able to give those people a face and a voice and a platform, like I said. So I interview different creators and do that. And then I also have, it's called Powerful Mind Talks, which is me, my brother-in-law, he's a producer, and then also Markner, who's an artist signed with a record label out of Atlanta. Shout out G-Class.
Wow.
And it's us three who do like more of like a normal casual podcast instead of the interviews that I do as well.
Right. So you guys so you have 2 sets. So you have like Powerful Mind, and then you have the Powerful Mind Talks.
Yeah. And then a third one that we just recently added was a Powerful New Era. So there's a company called New Era. Shout out New Era. Who basically does everything that I do for creators, and really wants to, a huge part of it as well as building that community and foundation of creators, right? Because so many artists, between the main area that I work with is Sarasota, Port Charlotte, so many artists in that area who just don't work together, who haven't had an opportunity to collaborate, to come together. And so Powerful Mind is really, really wanting to build that community.
That's awesome.
And build that, empowerment with everybody. So being able to do that, like people, you know, obviously start noticing and they're like, wow, like this is so cool. Nobody does anything like this around here. And then I realized that there is a huge athletic community who's the same exact way, you know?
Yeah.
And so New Era envisions for what I envision for creators, they envision it for athletes in the area.
Wow.
So not only am I able to tap into the creative community, I'm able to tap into the athletic community. And a lot of people don't realize there's so many, which actually you realize because you're a boxer.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I played college basketball. It's
so many linear.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah. They think alike.
It's the same. You have to have the hustle. You have to have the mindset. You have to have the, you know, dedication, the passion for it. And there's so many similar ways. And it's crazy because in society, it's never been like that. They don't compare, you know, athletes to creators. Like that's never been a thing. Like for example, in high school, you think of like the jocks and the, you know, band geeks.
Right, right.
It really is the same thing, just different fonts.
Yeah, you literally have to have the same mindset. Like, yo, I want to play this song and be the best at it. Yo, I want to be the best player. I got to go into practice. I got to do it, and it's literally all that. So it's cool that you're seeing. I was gonna say it's like, hey, they are really alike, right?
Really
That's
alike.
what you're noticing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So and when I first say it sometimes to people, like they're like, that's really interesting. And then now that they've seen it, they're like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's
so much sense.
It's awesome. It's awesome to see that you're like growing and you're reaching out to different, you know, to different places and different people. How did you come up with Powerful Mind?
So actually, weirdly, it I started. It was in the middle of quarantine. I was like, I need to do something creatively. Like I just have to, you know. So
that was a time where, like, if not, you were going crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was like, I guess I'll learn this TikTok dance. Like, I don't know. So, yeah. So I knew I wanted to do a clothing brand. That was the original idea, and I didn't know at all what it was going to be called. And it was actually in a dream. Which is how I'm like, I know this is meant to be, and this is my purpose, and this is what I'm supposed to do. It was in a dream where I was talking to somebody, and I said, well, it's just because you have such a powerful mind. And I was like, I literally woke up. I have a Snap video that has like 4 a.m. on it and the date. And I was like, I know what my clothing brand is going to be called. It's going to be called Powerful Mind. Good night. Like, went back to sleep just so I wouldn't forget it.
Yeah.
And yeah, fast forward 4 years later.
Congrats. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And the name is really powerful. Like, literally has powerful in it.
Yeah.
Like, so like when you're creating the podcast, because we talked about it off camera, right? It's like you're putting in so much time. Like, talk about the process of actually interviewing and the process of like, because people don't know what we actually do.
Right.
They see the finished product. They don't actually see, like in Youngest in the Yacht Club, they see you at the shows, they see you on the boat, but they don't know the waters that you had to go through to get there, how you had to get better. What's the process of, you know, finding interviewers, like all those things?
That analogy you just gave was great, by the way. Yo, that was fly. I don't know. Someone put that back. Put it in the clip.
Run that back.
Put it in the clip. But yeah, so wow, it's a lot. So it's actually funny because coming here today, I was editing. You know what I'm saying? In the car, I'm editing on the way over here. Like, I'm constantly editing any chance that I get. I think I guess if we're starting from the very beginning, scouting. That's a huge thing that I do all the time. When I'm scrolling on Instagram, when I'm looking at things, I'm looking at who's tagged at what, who are they, like what projects do they have coming out, like the creative community. I'm constantly, you know, on social media, that's what I look for. I'm constantly looking for like who would be a good fit, like who do I think would be awesome to give a platform to, you know, just collaboration wise. So scouting, is a huge thing. B, reaching out to people, like the way that I reached out to you, you know, because I just really saw you know, Youngest in the Yacht Club, dope name.
Thank you.
So cool.
Yeah.
Every person that I told, because I'm like, guys, I'm finally going on. I'm going to be interviewed. Like, it's crazy. And everybody that I've told, like, have you ever heard of Youngest in the Yacht Club? They're like, if they haven't, they're like, no, but that's a cool name. I'm like, I know. I know.
I trademarked that joint. Yeah.
So seriously, because, for real, people will snatch that. Yeah, that's another thing y'all don't even know about.
Yeah.
But, so, and I put them on, of course. I'm like, tap in, follow them, like,
Thank
you know.
You. Yeah. Need that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so scouting and then reaching out to people.
Yep.
Outreach. That's honestly, it's like a pitch, basically. Like,
Legit.
you're basically pitching people in the DMs. huge reoccurring theme on Powerful Mind is, if you want to work with somebody, DM them. Instagram DMs. Worst thing they're going to say is no, or they're just not going to respond.
Right.
You know? I know. And then obviously, when you're also reaching out to people, you get a lot of people who say yes, yes, yes. Nothing ever happens. That's a huge thing that happens, which I'm sure you experience all the time in the industry. All the time. Like, people saying yes to you, or, you know, just being like, yeah, sure, yes, I would love to, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then they just stop hitting you up, or stop responding, or they just constantly have to reschedule. Right. You know what I'm saying? And
I hate that.
I'm like, bro, like, you either put it in your calendar and make it happen, especially if we're giving time in advance, or it's not happening.
Yeah, legit.
You know?
If somebody misses an interview, I don't care for what like, unless it's like a ultimate emergency,
right.
I'm not reaching out to you, because they don't know the resources like you. You see this place, this is you know, the resources, you do the same thing, right? You spend your time, your money to do all these things, and for somebody to reschedule and not value what we have, especially if you're giving them a platform, come on now.
Absolutely. That's snaps. We do snaps on Powerful Mind, which sounds like,
legit.
It hits.
Let's snap.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Yeah, legit. That's the move.
Shout out you in this whole entire building. Like, this is crazy. I don't know if you guys know, but this is a really nice building. Like, really nice. And I was just walking through here, I was like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. This is impressive. I was like, I need me one of these.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot of time, you know.
It is.
Even just making it, you know, making it there. What about when you actually do get to interview them?
Right. So after the outreach, then it's, you know, setting the date. They actually slide through. It's prepping, because I actually do a lot of research on every single one of my guests, and I make notes. So I have like a clipboard with notes that I want to ask them about, you know.
Sure.
I have dates and all that stuff, because it's also really cool, because if I want to interview you, or we're interviewing, I want to bring up everything from the beginning, you know, like, why do you do it all? Like, how did this go? How did that happen? You know, so I do my research. So that's another step. Getting my team together, because when I'm recording, we actually have like a switcher board. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
So I have like 2 producers who sit behind, and they listen.
You guys like use OBS or something like similar?
Yeah, exactly. So they listen, first of all, because we use actually like the digi mics here.
You got to make sure them things are going. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know. Like,
audio is the worst. It's the worst.
If it fills up, it shuts off on you. Can't hear it. You know,
it's wrapped. Sorry, you don't have an episode.
It's not coming out.
You're like, what?
We gotta do it again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, that's a nightmare of mine, by the way. But,
you've seen? I've had it happen multiple times.
I actually haven't. Thankfully,
good job.
I actually had like where audio did mess up in a certain part, and like they didn't catch it. I was like, damn. So like you would have to like cut it or whatever, you know, try to make it happen still.
Sure.
But yeah, so they listen. So I have to get my team on board, you know. And if I want somebody there to do BTS or, you know, whatever, so I have to hit them up, make sure everyone's good.
That's awesome.
Make sure the place, because we actually record in, shout out Bashman Event Center in Port Charlotte, Florida. My producer, it's his spot that his family owns. It's an event center, but they have a content creation room that we record in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that I do my podcast in and everything. So that's got to be open and available. No like weddings or birthdays or like anything happening.
Right.
You know? And then, getting them there, do the interview, make sure it's all good, great, awesome. And then afterwards, it's immediately, which thankfully we have the switcher board. So I don't really have to go in and edit a lot of cutscenes, you know, unless it's like something happens or they say something and they're like, actually, can you cut that or like, whatever. I go back in and I edit it. I do that intro at the end, actually. I do the intro at the end. We'll edit it to the beginning, put in all the, you know, names that pop up and whatever extra stuff. And then from there, the reels. I actually just recently have, shout out Ishmael. He helps me do the reels now. You know, I do reels, he does reels, because it's a lot, you know. Also working a full-time, I still work a full-time regular, like, job.
Yeah.
To support myself.
And to fund your dreams.
Yeah, and to, like, eat food and bills and dreams and all of that stuff. So it's also working around that, which actually one job recently that I had, they saw me editing the podcast during the job a couple times. Maybe I did it a couple times because I'm like, I'm in a crunch. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta edit always, you know? So it's constantly doing the full episode and then the reels.
Yeah.
And then even posting, by the way, posting also takes time. Posting also takes time.
So if you ever want to know what it takes to do a fucking podcast, she literally just broke it down for you. So when people are saying, hey, it's this much to get on the pod, it's this to do it, this is what you're getting. Like, this is the stuff that you don't see when you're just being interviewed on a pod. Like, you don't see the time. They don't see the time, the resources. They just think, oh man, just let me get on the pod. Like, what's up? Let's just talk. But it's not just that. And
it's also like you also have to be so educated on how to use your tools as well to edit, you know, like that also takes time, especially if you're just starting. You have to learn how to use softwares. You have to learn how to, you know, you have to YouTube a ton of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to figure it out. And, you know, that's a lot of time, like you said, and not to mention the cost of having the equipment to do so.
Everything.
Thankfully, like, that's what I pay my guys, because I do pay my guys, you know, to help me with everything. But, yeah, so it's like also equipment is not cheap at all, guys.
Yeah, you make the investment, you know, and that's awesome. I got mad respect for you for real, because I know what it takes to make it happen and to do it consistently. And not just that, you're like, Bill, you got good reach too. Like, you've got awesome reach. I've done my research on you guys. At the beginning.
Okay.
This is the question I got to ask you.
Because you can see the difference,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
What made you keep going?
So, wow, that's crazy. So you actually want to know, so if I'm being real, which I have spoken about it on my own podcast still, but when I first started it, season 1 was such trial and error, because I am one of those people, you know how some people are like very calculated and will wait until everything's perfect to do something or think about all the details. I'm one of those, I'm like, I'm just going to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I am. Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to do it or it's never actually going to happen.
Exactly.
So I'm just a really big doer. That's what even my producers, like, you're just a really big doer. That's why we do believe in you. We do believe in the podcast because we know that you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, so I just started doing it, honestly, and I had no idea what I was doing. Learned so much along the way. Season 1, the set changed. I don't know if you noticed that. The set changed so many different times in season 1 because we would use like the room, but at that time, shout out even their progress and bashment, at the time the room wasn't the room that it is now that we recorded, you know? It was like they had like a couple signs on the wall and like plastic tables and chairs, and that was it. Yeah. You know, like that was it. That's what we used for the first like couple episodes, I think. And then we were like, okay, well, it's not like permanent or whatnot. So then I used to switch my living room in my apartment to a set every time we would record. You know what I'm saying? So I literally clear my whole living room, put the couch, make sure everything was great, you know? And then I built actually a set in my dining room. So I just didn't have a dining room. I just had a set in my dining room for recording. It was just like, it was just, if you want to make it happen, you will.
The sacrifice.
Yeah. And so actually, because it does, like you said, it costs money to run a podcast. Season 1 actually ended, almost like it ended abruptly after 10 episodes because I ran out of money.
Wow.
I ran out of money. I literally ran out of money to fund it.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, guys, I guess that's the end of season 1.
Yeah,
you know? So then I took 6 months off. And in those 6 months, I can't even tell you how crucial those 6 months were to be where I'm at right now. You know, sometimes me being a doer, like we said, sometimes you get it over your head. Sometimes you can get, you know, kind of not messed up, but you can just be like, okay, maybe I need to take like a second, take a step back to recoup and come back better. Right. You know? Right. Have you ever experienced that before?
All the time. All the time. I feel like especially when you're starting something new or you're venturing, right? Like I like it. I love what you said, that you execute, because that's really, you commit and then you execute, because that it's an awesome mindset. With that, you do learn on the way and you make mistakes and you learn from those mistakes. So it's like some of those mistakes could be detrimental to the baby, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, yo, and then now you have to figure out alternate ways to get things done or be creative, like you said, and start using your room or your dining room. And then, you know, shit could happen in life where, like you say, money financially and the financials aren't adding up, and you're like, why am I even doing this shit?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then sometimes you do have to take a step back and it's like, hey, look, is this really what you want to do? And if that is the answer, then you just find a way.
Yeah. No, literally. Like, I can't even tell you, like, okay, so when I started season 1, obviously, you know, like I said, those 6 months are crucial. I worked a lot on myself just as a person. You know, I realized I needed to put myself around people who are entrepreneurs, who do market themselves as such, who do just have a lot more knowledge in that field than I do, who are bosses already. Because that's another huge thing that we talk about. You have to surround yourself with people who will elevate you as well.
Absolutely.
Who you will learn from. Because if you continuously put you around people who are either A, right there with you, or B, below you, how are you going to grow? How are you going to learn? How are you going to know any different?
Yeah.
You know? So those 6 months, that's what I did. And worked on myself a lot, and also just saved up so much, because I was like, when we come back for season 2, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna let money be the reason why I stop.
That's
I'm not
awesome.
doing it, you know?
That's fire.
So yeah, saved up a lot, then came back. We actually recorded content. Do you back record content by chance?
What do you mean back record?
So like, I guess like pre-record and have content stacked up.
Yeah.
Be able to drop.
Oh yeah. So I have I've got like 50 episodes in the chamber.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Remember, we started in November and we didn't drop until like March or April. And that was a learning, because I knew that the learning curve, like my first episode wasn't going to be like my 12th episode.
Right.
Actually, if you look at Youngest in the Yacht Club, the 12th episode with Pusha Preen was the first one that we did. And I had already done like 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And the first one was trash. I was like, I can't put this out.
Oh no, yeah.
You know, so yeah, and then I keep a log. Yeah, so I keep a backlog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Same. So I actually did this very similarly. I started actually earlier this year. So in January, that's when I started recording. And then we didn't drop until April, like end of April-ish.
Yeah.
End of April-ish. And so now we're at 25 episodes out. And which is insane, which means we've done 12 episodes. So every Tuesday, shout out Powerful Mind Tuesdays, you get a new video and audio on Tuesdays. But yeah, so I back like right now I have like a month and a half already scheduled out of videos, you know?
Amazing.
And I just, and that was another huge thing I learned.
Yes.
Because then I was like, if we don't record this week, I don't have an episode to post.
Yeah.
And that was a huge thing I learned in season 1 as well. Which I
Yeah.
would never do again. You know how stressful that is?
Yeah,
Even more
legit.
stressful.
It's tough.
Even
It's
more
tough.
stressful.
Yeah, because now you have to work. Now you're, like you said, you're in a crunch and you're trying to get everything out.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, so I would never do that to myself again. If you want to start a podcast, back record stuff. Like, keep a log, like you said, keep a backlog of content for sure.
That's awesome.
So yeah, 6 months, so that was crucial. So that's, yeah, and I knew that I was going to come back with season 2 and continue. Might end season 2 at like 50 to 75 episodes.
Wow.
You know, and then do season 3 up until 150, you know, like that's,
Yeah.
I want to keep going. I want to get as far as possible.
Yeah, keep doing it. I mean, you guys have great content. I've seen a couple of the episodes that you guys have.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you guys do talk to creators. Like that to me, that's what, I mean, I'm going to get on the show. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to make that happen.
Yeah.
What other projects are you working on, like besides Powerful Mind?
Yeah, so I actually, personally, so this past, like, I want to say, honestly, since we started dropping more consistently, when we did start dropping, I've kind of shifted my focus to make sure that the podcast is up and running and good to go, you know, with drops and whatnot. But now I'm changing my focus because I also, like, model and act and whatnot. So, and I don't know if you peep on my page, but different photo shoots.
Yeah.
But all of them have a very specific theme. And meaning behind it. I like to call them creative photo shoots because I realized as me, because I've always done social media, like, since I was in elementary school. I have stupid videos of me, like, stupid vines and stuff of me, like, doing social media, dumb videos and whatever. I like to entertain. That's what I like to do, you know?
Sure.
So for me, I'm about to start dropping photo shoots again, I would say, like, next month.
Wow.
And those photo shoots are bigger productions because I don't like doing boring photo shoots.
Yeah,
I just don't. Because I feel like okay, you look good, now what? Like, and what? Like, what else? Like, you know, like, I don't know. It's just so boring. Like, if to have a girl who nowadays girls are half naked or naked doing photo shoots, and it's like, what are we evoking here? Like, it's not art to me. I like to create art. I like to create things that make you feel things, that have a message behind them, that you're going to remember specifically because you're like, that's dope. I've never seen anything like that, you know? Dope. So all these ideas for photo shoots are mine. Like, I have them, and I find photographers, the right photographer that I feel like will be able to help me execute it, and I do it. And I usually come with, like, a team so that, like, everything's, like, fine for the whole photo shoot. Yeah.
And then, so you said you like to act, too? You want to act and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I actually did acting. I was the head of the thespian troupe.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
In high school. So I'm in the Hall of Fame at Northport High School for acting.
Wow.
I love doing that. That is a huge passion of mine. I acted in a couple music videos as well.
Wow.
As like the lead girl. Shout out Kid Pittman. The most recent video he did, Blazy Susan. Wow. It was a spinoff of Friday, so I was Miss Parker.
Oh, Miss Parker. Hello, Miss Parker.
Yeah. So I was Miss Parker and I was Felicia. So it was funny to see, like, me switch. Yeah, both sides of that.
Wow.
Kind of pull out my acting chops a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really do love getting hired to do those projects and to act in those projects or help music videos come to life, like all those things. I love, honestly, just helping in any way that I can to help someone create their vision and create what they want to do, because you do need help. It does take a village. It does take a village. You do need a support system behind you. You have to.
That's awesome.
You know? Yeah.
You've got the true creative, like, full circle message. Like, you know, from helping people to do it to getting it done. It's awesome to see that. If you could go back in time to the younger Amaya.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's when you woke up, you know, but if you can go back to any time, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself? Your younger self?
I would say, my younger self, breathe. Breathe and trust yourself. That is a huge thing. I constantly, it was, even when I was younger, super busy schedule from the jump in high school, because I was also the head of the theater, but I was the head of marching band too. Wow. I played, like, instruments. I was like the one, you know, the one that waves their hands and conducts people. I did that. Like, wow. That was my passion. I was so passionate about that. I still am. I still have mad respect and love for musicians who, like, play, like, instruments. Like, that's not easy at all either.
Right.
But because of that, like, I would go to school early, so I'd get there at like 6:30 and not leave. If we had like a football game that same day, not leave till like 10:30 at night. And I would have days like that over and over, and I would burn myself out a lot.
Wow.
A lot, you know? And I've learned, even now, I still have moments where I do burn myself out, but now I feel like I've been able to learn how to regulate it more and know and avoid it. You know, I can feel myself. I'm like, all right, you're doing a little too much. Maybe you should sleep a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. But I've always had this urge, and it's crazy because I am younger, you know, I am on the younger side. It's crazy because you always have that urge that, am I doing enough? You know, am I doing enough? Is this enough? Like, should I be doing more? Like, I'm not where I want to be at. I'm not there yet. I can't stop. Like, I have to keep, you know? Yeah. So, that can teeter-totter on healthy and unhealthy, you know? So, to my younger self, definitely just breathe and trust yourself. Like, you're going to be able to do things when you need to do them. You're talking to the right people when you need to talk to the right people. Because, like, even this, for example, reaching out to you, I've seen Youngest in the Yacht Club for a while now, continue to watch. And I was like, I really want to be on there.
Thank you.
You know? Yeah. I was like, I really want to be on there one day. And I just never reached out. And then one day I really was like, okay, I think now's the time. And I did, and, like, here we are. You know, it's just so crazy. Like, when you have that feeling, you gotta trust it. Like, trust your gut.
When I relate to you, too, because I feel like sometimes things, and I've had to tell myself, things happen when they need to happen, when they're supposed to happen.
Yes.
And, but, you know, you get anxious and you want to make them happen, right? And you're like, kind of almost want to force things sometimes. And, you know, I feel that. And I could relate to you as far as, like, breathe, man. Like, stop doing so much, bro. You're doing the most right now, which doing the most ain't a bad thing.
Right.
But, like, you can get fatigued, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want that burnout. You want that, like, consistent, steady pace. Like, you could do stuff, but prioritize it and make things happen. I feel you on that, because my girl's like, yo, relax. You know, like chill. It's 4 in the morning, bro.
Dude, it's insane. Like insane. Like even my boyfriend too, like constantly reminds me. He's like, "Did you?" It's so funny. It sounds so weird. He's like, "Did you breathe today?" And I'm like, actually, now that I think about it, I haven't taken a deep breath all day, man.
Yeah, like
all day.
Get it in.
I take a deep breath, and all of a sudden my spine cracks, and I'm like, "Yo, that's."
Yeah, that's that real anxiety, yo.
I'm like, "Yo, I really have not taken a deep breath at all today." So it's just stuff like that you don't even notice.
Yeah,
and it's so easy to get used to that. But it's like I said, it's a balance. Like balance is a huge thing.
That's fire.
Huge thing.
What so now that you've been doing stuff, and now that you've been like creating, and now that you've been, you've seen the entrepreneurs, you're around the entrepreneurs, and you said something earlier, is like, hey, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get out the room, basically.
Yeah.
What advice could you give to somebody who wants to follow in your footsteps or get into the industry that you're in? What would, from all the stuff that you've learned in the time?
Yeah. If I were to do it again, like completely from scratch, I would say, do your research and reach out to people who do what you want to do. Talk to people who do what you want to do, because they've already done it themselves, and everybody's story is different on how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And all you can do is listen to their stories and take bits and pieces that you're like, okay, I like this. Okay, I like this. Okay, I like this. And take it and internalize it for yourself and execute it in the way that you will for yourself and be unique. Because obviously you're not trying to copy and paste what anybody else is doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's super important to learn from others. Especially, like I said, like people who have already done it, that roadmap. Like if I have anybody like reach out to me and ask me like about, how do I do this, and this, I'm answering like nothing, you know what I'm saying? Right. Because I was that,
Right.
And I think, I guess like mentors would be a huge thing as well, which is not easy to find, honestly. That's why like all you can do is reach out to people, and they're either going to just ignore you or say no. And like, that's the worst that's going to happen.
Right.
And you will end up connecting to the people you're supposed to connect with. Like you said, you're going to talk to the people that you're supposed to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and who you know is the biggest thing. So the biggest thing, how important is who you know?
Yeah. I mean, who you know can open up doors that talent can't,
Yeah.
It's like, you can be talented, but when, somebody who's there, like, and you can be talented and you don't know the person to help you out. You're just talented.
You're just talented. Yeah, exactly. There's people who are not even talented who just happen to know the right person, and there it is, know? So that's a huge thing. So I would say, anyone who's trying to do this or roadmap, reach out, do your research, try to collect your facts and whatnot, and then you just have to do it. Like, you just have to jump into it. You have to. If not, you're not going to do it, I promise.
For sure.
Yeah.
How can somebody reach out to you to get on the pod?
Just DM, Instagram DMs, huge thing. Instagram DMs.
Where can they DM?
So you can DM at powerfulmind.official if you need any help on A, starting your own thing, B, anything creatively you need help. Because think about it, Powerful Mind, we are a network of creators. If you're looking for a producer, if you're looking for actors, if you're looking for a singer, if you want to feature with somebody, reach out to powerfulmind.official and we can outreach on our community that we have. That's a huge thing. So networking is huge within our community. So everybody I have on, how many people have started working with each other because they met on set for Powerful Mind?
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? Or they know like, oh, they got interviewed too. Like, let me reach out to them because they're good people. Like, I'm not going to have anybody on that I don't feel like is a good person, who isn't a hustler, who isn't, really passionate about what they do, who doesn't, anybody who I feel like aren't really taking their craft seriously, So yeah, just reach out to powerfulmind.official, and we'll definitely help you out in any way, shape, or form that we can, for sure.
That's awesome. It's dope to see that you're willing to help people and help them, do those things. They got to be doing something, though, right?
Yeah,
they got to have a vetting.
I'm just going to give it away for, like, free or to somebody who I don't think is even going to, value it or, like I said, take it seriously. Right. Then it's like you're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah. How important is time to you?
Oh, my gosh. So super important.
Legit. You were the one thing that I really liked about you, because I do get a lot of people that want to be on.
Right.
But one thing, and on the other end, like we get lost in our own stuff that's going on.
Oh yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
One thing that I really liked was like, hey, look, I'm setting up my schedule. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to make it. Are we able to do this and what time so I can put it on the calendar and just make it happen? How important is that to you? Like your scheduling, all the things, your organization and time?
It's super important. Honestly, like I felt like recently I've been lacking that for myself. So like this weekend, I made sure I set time aside to be able to organize myself a little bit better because that's super important. And balance, like I said, it kind of honestly comes back to balance as well. You have to be organized in order to kind of keep a balance.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be like, okay, for 2 hours right here, I'm just going to edit. For 2 hours over here, I'm just going to do outreach. For, you know, and just breaking it down as small as possible and making sure that you're hitting everything that you need to hit off your list and then it's scheduled and that, like, you know, it's going to get done. So that's so powerful. You can be so powerful.
That's awesome that you say that, because it's like a lot of, if not, like, what are you actually doing? It's like kind of like you just
even I have to organize my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to organize my thoughts.
Do you set time aside for you just to do that too? Just to like kind of like meditate or just kind of like
I literally say it like if I'm starting to feel like overwhelmed or crazy, because I'm not perfect. I'm still a human being. I still feel like that. No matter how much you try, sometimes you are a human at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, legit.
And even if you do make a perfect schedule and whatever, the time might come and you might be like, actually, I think if I don't like take a second to chill, I might die. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you're like, actually, let me move this block over here. Like, you know, so you adjust accordingly. But definitely, like, the term I really like, or people tell me, is like, put your feet in grass. Like, find grass somewhere, get your feet in grass, get grounded, essentially. It's just getting grounded. The beach to me is like a big happy place where I can sit and just think and reset, and like it just makes me really happy to just be at the beach, especially during sunset, and just sit and like breathe, you know, and breathe. And self-reflection is huge. I will preach that till the day I die. Self-reflection. How are you going to get any better if you don't know what you're lacking at? You know, if you don't take a second to think like, I actually don't like this, or why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? How can I change it? How can I avoid it? How, you know, like, how are you going to get better if you don't take a second to think on how to get better, you know?
It's awesome that you, like, you're preaching so much, like, you help a lot of people, but you also preach self-help, you know, which is awesome. Like,
because if you don't have that, you don't have anything. Yeah,
how can you help somebody else when there's nothing on your plate? You know, you got just nothing for yourself, you know? It's dope. What is the final message, Amaya, for your fan base, your viewers, people who are just connecting with you? What's the message, the big message?
All right. So the big message here, guys, is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And no matter, like I said, no matter where you come from, no matter your age, what you look like, doesn't matter, dude. You have to believe in yourself and you have to go for it. Forget what everybody else is saying around you. All right, forget what anybody else may be doubting you, or like, why are you doing that? A big thing is like, you're not even making money off of it. Why are you doing so much time into it? You know, like, I promise you, people who don't understand will never understand, and you are never going to win that battle. So you have to not listen to anybody else around you. And if you know inside of yourself and in your heart that this is A, what you want to do, and B, what you're made for, and you're not going to be satisfied until that dream happens, or you start hitting those goals to get to that dream, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to feel settled inside. So my advice is trust yourself. Trust the process. That is so important. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a straight linear progression. You're going to have your high highs. You're going to have your low lows. And it's going to constantly go up and down. Trust yourself. Chase your dreams. Believe in your dreams. And I promise you, with consistency and time and effort and love and motivation, it's going to happen for you for sure. So that's my message, is believe in yourself, follow your dreams. You can do it.
It's amazing. That's I love that. Like, that is a whole clip. Legit.
Clip it up right now.
Right there. Amaya, where can everybody find you, you know, and find the pod and just everything you got going on? Plug yourself.
Yes. So, powerfulmind.official on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube, check out the full episodes. We got all the clips on Instagram, on TikTok. We also have Facebook, if you like Facebook. We also do the YouTube shorts as well. And if you just want to listen audio, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, we're on Deezer, we're on Podcaster. We're still working on Apple Music. Bear with me, it's giving me problems, but but if you want just audio, you can find that. Also, if you go to the link in bio on powerfulmind.official, you'll have the links to everything, to all the different platforms that we're on. we have exclusive Powerful Mind drop coming with we have our t-shirts coming out for season 2 in August, and then we're also having our first Powerful Mind event in September. It's going to be an exclusive event, so you got to definitely watch out for that. You'll see the info for that around September-ish. And then you can follow me too.
Yeah.
I'm at Amaya2223 on Instagram and at Amaya C2223 on TikTok.
That's amazing. Amaya, thank you for being on the show. I can't wait to be on yours. Kind of tell my story. We're going to be on there. And, you know, it's great getting to know you and actually getting to, you know, see what's there. And, you know, I really connect with you building, because it's amazing to see, like, you know, I could talk about how to create a podcast, but you literally did like a whole tutorial, you know, so that people could understand, like, yo, this is, if you didn't know, now you know.
Now
so
you know, yeah.
Don't ask me if you're not really ready to do it. So that's awesome.
No, seriously, thank you so much to you. Thank you for having me on and giving me this opportunity to talk like this. I don't think I've ever talked like this about, you know, what I do or anything. So I really appreciate your time, honestly.
How was it?
Your efforts. No, amazing. It was so easy. I looked down at the time, and I was like, oh, it's about time to wrap.
Yeah, no.
We can keep yapping. Thank God we have another episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I'm the same way. Like, I will take over. Like, if you let me talk, I'm going.
I know. I'd be yapping for days, I promise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked down at the time and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it, right?
So fast, yeah.
Yeah, super comfortable. I appreciate you telling your story and making you the celebrity, giving you the platform to be the celebrity you are, you know?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Thank you guys
again.
Seriously, appreciate it. Much love. Make sure you go show them love too, for real.
Youngest in the Yacht Club. Make sure you go to Powerful Mind. I will be on there. Vince Serrano will be on there as well.
Yes, he will. So watch out for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.